Hey guys, Coach Kevin here with your first quick little geek out. We had a lot of questions on our Instagram about what to dive into a little bit further. I would say the majority of those questions were regarding lactic endurance or, how do I deal with muscle pain during a workout? How do I get better at the CrossFit Open type workouts? So that's what we're going to talk about today. This is near and dear to my heart because when I first started CrossFit, this was by far my worst aspect. I felt like I was going to puke every single workout. I thought that I was pretty strong and powerful, but I just couldn't, sustain very powerful output for more than like a minute or two. So we're going to dive a little bit further into this. I see this as three different aspects to lactic endurance that we can, see where our weaknesses are at and start to attack that weakness to get better at these, open style workouts where we're feeling a little bit of pain. The first aspect we want to look at is power output. So what is our top end power output? If we're doing a CrossFit workout where we're trying to go at like a 90% effort, the higher our 100% effort is, the easier that 90% is going to feel. That's pretty easy to train. Really, we just have to go really, really fast, all out, with a lot of rest, and spend some time in that domain over the weeks, months, years. Okay, so the second aspect is your actual lactic or anaerobic capacity. So this is how well we flush our lactic acid and how well we deal with that like painful muscle burn feeling. So this aspect is not actually that hard to train. We just need to spend some time in this domain during our training. The negative parts to this is that if we do a ton of this training, it's going to really beat us down long term, could cause some injuries or cause overtraining. And this aspect doesn't actually last that long in terms of gains. So we want to do this leading up to a competition, but it's not going to help us, long term necessarily. All right, so the third aspect to improving your lactic endurance is actually improving your aerobic capacity. And we can split that up into two different domains here, your aerobic base and your aerobic power. So when we do like a 8 to 12 minute painful CrossFit workout, the more that we can rely on our aerobic system, we can actually take less away from our anaerobic system and not use up quite as much of that energy source. And we can also flush that lactate during the workout and not feel quite as much pain. So basically, if we can get our 85% effort, so like our sustainable effort, up to a high enough capacity that we're still feeling good and moving at a fast rate, we're going to have to use less of this lactic type energy source. So that gets a little bit trickier on how to actually accomplish that and how to improve that 85%. So first of all, by spending time in that domain is how we get it better. So by spending time in your not painful and your sustainable domain is going to make that aspect better. And then by slowly increasing your volume or slowly increasing your intensity, but still keeping it in that sustainable effort is how we're going to improve this aspect. So when we're looking at this and we see, power output, lactic, and aerobic, and we aren't really quite sure which one is our biggest weakness, I want to try to put some numbers on this and try to help you guys figure out where our biggest weakness might be and where we need to work on. All right, so to figure out where your weakness is, I wanted to actually put some specific numbers on this, and we're going to use row distances to figure out where your specific domain is that we need to work on. So put some numbers up. These are really aggressive numbers. This would be for like a regionals, individual or a team athlete or a sanctional individual or team athlete, but you can still use these numbers and see how far off we are in each domain to kind of figure out what we should be working towards and what we should be spending our time training. So if we look at power output, I want to see fastest pace on the rower. So guys 110, ladies 123. For a 500 meter, that's a little bit of lactic, but it's still a lot of power output. 122 for guys, 139 for ladies. And then getting more into lactic / anaerobic domains, a 2K is definitely pretty heavy lactic. So I'm looking for about 650 for guys and 745 for ladies. And then getting more into aerobic, a 5K row would be, a lot more aerobic of a test. I'm looking for about 18 minutes for guys and 20 minutes, 45 seconds for ladies. So if you have all these numbers and you start to compare where you're at compared to these goal times that we're looking to be able to hit to be a balanced athlete, you can start to see whether it's, our aerobic domain that we really need to work on, whether it's our top end power output that we really need to work on, or whether we do need to spend more time in this, lactic and anaerobic domain to get better here. But just like I talked about a little bit ago, if we get better at this aerobic domain, it's actually going to help with this lactic domain and vice versa with the power output. So we want to kind of look where our biggest weakness is at and start to spend more time in that domain and start to help that. So this is one aspect of ourself as a balanced CrossFit athlete, and it's just a high-level geek out. We dive way further into this, into the competitor camp, along with every other aspect of becoming a balanced athlete as a CrossFit competitor. So if that interests you, highly recommend coming to either our Colorado competitor camp at Koda CrossFit Ironview on June 15th and 16th, or our Oklahoma competitor camp on July 13th and 14th at Koda CrossFit Native. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments. Happy to help.